Hi, it is the Human Operating System time. This channel is for education and technology only. So in the past 2 days, I have shared using the battle ropes to develop the basic impulse momentum handling and the fudging or issuing force. And with this, I got many messages from our Wing Chun friends. Many of our friends tell me that now they understand what I'm trying to talk about, the dynamic continuous impulse momentum handling. And many of our Wing Chun friends told me that what they train, no way be able to handle people who train like with the battle ropes. And now they be able to see it. Their training is simply lack of dynamic continuity, speed, intensity, and stamina. So no matter how they train, they told me it's not going to get it because the opponent is in a different world, in different type of paradigm. Well, this is the reality. That continuous dynamic impulse momentum play with high intensity and high speed, and you need a lot of stamina or VO2 max in the sports science term, is the bottom line. Unless we know about this, we really do not know what is the reality is about. If you watch the battle ropes play, you can see that battle ropes have a momentum and it fight back. When you try to whip it, there is the momentum from the ropes which is coming back. So one need to be able to handle that momentum coming in while handling one's own momentum. So one need to deal with it continuously. And usually one never trained that way. Usually we think, oh, it is just one technique. It's a tan da 3 times and that's it. And there's no fight back. And we don't know that there's a momentum coming like that, where we cannot stand there in the same distance or just be static, moving our arm and techniques only. It is a different paradigm. So this thing opened eyes for many people, many of our friends, and I think that's good, because that's what the ancients is talking about, like in the Shaolin short strike canon. So if you look at that, like in the Wing Chun Inceptions, I put on this H model. Those battle rope training is belong to like over here, impulse momentum handling, and it is in this corner. Now, if you look at the usual training like wooden dummy, chi sao, those techniques training, it is around here. Conditioning and basic technique, those stuff. It is not something over here. It doesn't have the continuity, the intensity, and the stamina to do it. Okay? And if you see all those Fa Jing, push hand, those type of demonstrations, you know right away. Those are really discrete or static. They prepare for 1 minute, they do one demonstrations and that's it. But you look at the like the battle rope training, where 20 seconds they go accelerate up to the really high heart rate zone, and then the next 30 seconds they might come down, rest their body, and then go up again. And in 1 minute they can do many times of those. With those kind of training, the so-called Fa Jing, the demo of structure is not going to make it facing those type of training, or in today's sports science is named as the high intensity interval training. Okay, so this is the reality. Okay, and however, we need to know also, not everybody can train up here in this zone 4 or zone 5 or the maximum heart rate or the battle rope training. Not everybody. If the body is not very healthy, like you have high blood pressure or diabetic or heart issue, you don't want to go there, because you don't want to load your lung and your heart. There's always a misconception that thinking that if I stress my heart, then I can get more strong. It's not the truth. The truth is, you need to know the limitation there. And for thousands of years, at least hundreds of years, the Chinese know that once one is over 40 and is having some misalignment in the body, they are not going to do those kinds of training. That's why those type of training is called heart training. Okay. So we need to know that, because we really need to take care of our health. We know what is fighting, we know what is impulse momentum, dynamic, handling, continuous, high intensity, high VO to max. But if it's not our game, don't touch it. There's nothing wrong to walk away, because we know that we don't have the training, we don't want to play. This is not in the ancient time that we have to defend ourselves. Okay, there's a legal system today to protect us. Okay, and on the other hand, over this end, okay, we talk about this end with the battle rope. On this end, that is the recovery end, or the nurture chi end. One need to be able to monitor the practice of the nurture chi or recovery with the heart rate profile, SpO2, and heart rate variability. Well, the sports science do that too, right? Heart rate variability. They'll always track their heart rate variability to see whether they already recover or not. Actually, in the Wing Chun Inception, I have shown that the autostatic test over there, and you have those things to track your recovery with the heart rate variability. And if the SpO2 is low, one is not going to go exercise or training in the battle rope, because one's not supposed to do that. It's gonna damage the body. One need to get into recovery and then when one is recovery, only that one go train on that like the battle rope, the impulse momentum zone. That's why I have this thing, and it checked on me, you know, like this Polar Vantage V. It got the Recovery Pro, so I know if I sleep enough, my heart rate variability, and I can check with this heart rate variability autostatic test, which is in the Polar Vantage V, to see whether I can do the job or not. Or check with my SpO2, you know, today do I want to go practice in those high intensity stuff. So that is the recovery part, okay? So the battle ropes here, the recovery here, the nurture chi, as in this book, in the Wing Chun Inception book, I mentioned the to get into the nurture chi and so forth. Now, we know that what today's people do in terms of 站桩, also called internal gong fu and so forth, is something over here. It is not get into the nurture chi part. It's not get into the impulse momentum handling for high intensity, high speed, continuous and high stamina. We know where it is. What is training push hand? Okay, good, sure. For beginner, before you want to get into the high intensity impulse momentum, you condition your body. Is this all good? Yes, good. Is playing set good? Yes, good. Is playing wooden dummy good? Yes. But we need to know. It is here, it is not here. And don't put the thinking that going 站桩 or doing some internal sets or using mind power, we can fight here. Okay, as many have messaged me yesterday, they know what the heck I'm talking about now. Okay, and also whatever here is not here. You look at those so-called internal stuff. When you talk about internal, for me, when people talk internal these days, right away I can make an equivalent that they talk ego. They usually come say, "Well, Hendrik, what do you know about internal? What do you know? You don't know about Dan Tian. You don't know about Qi. I have Qi flow all my body and so forth, so forth, so forth." I know there's this ego talking. Because you want to talk internal for real? Well, show me your SpO2, how it raised. Show me how you control your heart rate variability. Because we know that in Buddhism, in the practice of Anapanasati, how it goes through state by state, and you know how the pulse is going down, the heart rate, the breathing rate is going down, okay, and you know the heart rate variability is rising, okay, that is a type of a deep recovery, Anapanasati. Okay, there's a sutta for that. Okay, and then the Anapanasati was used later by the Chinese Taoists in China. We know the track record. So anybody who say they do this Taoist, that Taoist, and all kinds of stuff, without knowing this, get into the bottom line, the root of it, and how the practice of it. We know what it is. We know how far it can go for those type of practice which have no idea on this thing. So that's why when I wrote the meditation matrix, it is there, say it in today's language. That books is something I want to do an AI company for that, but later I just call it off, you know. Just don't want to bother with this business stuff, because it's more important for people to know their culture and for people to really benefit from the practice. Like this COVID-19 time. So how are we going to help ourselves? How? Now, if you have this full development as the ancient Chinese, as how they practice, you know they go through things like this, and you know their body immune system, they can strengthen it. Okay? It is not like today's meditations, like in the applications. You know, get a smartphone and then meditation. Those are kid stuff. If you want to look into Anapanasati for real, okay. So just imagine, I just put the very minimum of Anapanasati and the teaching of Grandmaster Zhiyi 1,500 years ago in the in Wing Chun Matrix and in the Wing Chun Inceptions and the Wing Chun in meditation book, and you can already measure the result scientifically. Okay. So that is just really surface of Anapanasati. And we can get this far already. We can get a result. So we need to know these three things. Okay, the impulse momentum, the recovery. The impulse momentum is the very high intensity training. The recovery is a must. Otherwise, this body can be damaged, or we can actually how to say that, reduce our immune system if we don't rest. Okay, so that's part. And then the middle part, which is usually people practice the Qi Sao, the wooden dummy, the sets. Those are what it is. The three parts there. Okay. And so that is something we need to know. See, I rather to show people, okay, like this thing. This is a solution. This is not a books. I careless to write a books for my own biography, to show you how smart or how many teachers I have, but it need to be a solution. And I careless to put this in the AI company or this to make money, because that's not the point. Hey, you know, I'm 60 years old. If I die tonight, money is good, but what is the point? It's not going to go with me in my coffin anyway. But people need help. Wing Chun, the culture, need help. Traditional Chinese martial art needs help. Need to know all of this. So that is what I'd like to share with you today. Okay, that's why I call this channel education, not about money. Money is nice. One of my Zen teacher, late Zen patriarch, told me this. He said this. He said in America is a very rich, prosperous country. If you want money, there are plenty of money. But you never want to think money. You want to think, what can you contribute to people? You come to this country, you contribute to this country. That's my my late Sifu, Zen patriarch, Xuan Hua told me. Okay, you contribute to people. You don't ask. So that is how the teaching of the ancient or the older generations who practice Buddha Dharma and who practice the ancient arts of meditation and so forth. Okay? So if one contribute, one make a lot of money, that's good. But the notion is, what do one contribute? And so back to in this video, as in martial art, what do we contribute? Are we contribute to help people, make them live better, more healthier? Or we contribute to get people to fight, and then they have a bad health? That we all have to answer for that questions ourselves, right?